All right. So today we're going to be going over the stocks I took this week. This week started on, what was the start of this week? The 2nd. So the 2nd of June, I believe. Yeah, that's the month. And this week we ended up relatively positive. We got into many of the themes that we wanted to get into, but there was some pullbacks during the week. In some cases, the market was relatively weak, but we ended off the week, I would say, relatively strong. As you can see, here's the back watch list. You can see there's a lot of stocks that had some very strong moves over the week itself. So some of the stocks, in the beginning of the week was losing money, but I happened to trade in themes and be inside momentum. So I was able to find my way through and navigate and just make some money. So now we're going to look at some of the stocks I took, during this week. So the first stock I took, well, this is not the first stock, but this is a stock I took on Friday. We're just going to go down the list. So here's the list, right? So here's the list of all the stocks I took. There's a mix of stocks in here. Some of these are day trades. Some of these are EPs, earnings plays. Some of these are just momentum plays, and some of these are like theme breakouts. So we'll be discussing it and then moving forward with the rest of the program. All right, so for this weekly review, we have Fuel Cell. This is a stock I took on Friday. I seen the earnings. I looked up the earnings on ChatGPT because you can do that. For example, if I go here, this is what I do. Like if you watch my weekly, like just me trading live through the week, you'll see like I'll go here and I have you can set up like projects in here. So I don't really take a lot of time doing the prompting. I have all the prompting already done. And I was just asked, I was like, hey, what's going on with Fuel Cell? You say something like, what happened to Fuel Cell on Friday? And the ChatGPT is working. Sometimes it likes to move very slow. Yeah. So you can see it's pulling up the news. And you can see reported 37.4 million revenue, 67% year over year, well above the expected 32 million. Backlog grew, blah, blah, blah. And then so then it gives you a bottom line. I have it to prompt to do this. You can see some other examples here. Market reaction day on QXO or whatever this is. Someone in the chat had asked about this one, but you can see it's giving me all these different breakdowns and outlooks on the stocks that I'm asking about. And you can get a good grasp on, I guess, the market perspective of it by just asking ChatGPT. Get a good grasp on the news. They'll give you the highlights. And you don't really have to read through a bunch of articles, and you also do not have to pay. This thing will search, different things, especially if the stock is like actually being watched. It'll search through different websites and you can find, news. So this is what we did on Fuel Cell. We knew the earnings had a positive reaction. We can see the demand here, right? So demand's a big component of, momentum. You got to have some type of demand to have momentum, and demand shows up in volume. So we took Fuel Cell. I think we got into it slightly late once the computer unfreezes. I think we got into it slightly late. I think we wanted to take it at the top of this. I'm not sure. Maybe, okay. Maybe we didn't get in late. Let's see when we got in. All right. We got to see, because the whole point of doing these reviews is to grade how we're trading, right? You got to check for your own improvement because no one else is. Unless you have like a trading coach. I would be someone's trading coach if they paid me, but yeah, we gotta check the review. So all my stuff comes through my phone. Like all my trades get documented in my phone automatically. So I'll just type in Fuel Cell and it'll tell me the price I entered. So I entered at 651, very late. So 592 is when we wanted it. 592 is when we wanted it. We wanted it because we're going to take this earnings play. We wanted it as a breakout. So we wanted, because it didn't gap up. So we would have took it as but maybe we was late. The first 5 minutes, it was already up to 6 32. So we should have took it at 632 or 592. We got in at 651. So that's already pretty bad. Pretty bad start. 651 is a pretty high entry, right? It's already up 17%. Not a really lot you can do there, but I know we took a starter position because it was so wide, and we tried to make the most out of opportunity when we started to see it move. I don't believe this was in theme, but we can check the watch list. This would be like maybe battery tech or battery tech is not strong. Fuel cell's not even in here in the first place. But then we also have, along with battery tech, we have EV charging stations. And you can see all those were doing good this day, but they're not really breaking out. It's just fuel cell breaking out. So I would say this wasn't in theme, but all of them was green that day. Fuel cell could be leading the way. It's a possibility, but I would say this wasn't in theme. I would say, even though the stock performed very well, I would say this is like a C, like on a F to, I can't even lift my hand behind my, oh my gosh, so sore. I would say this is like out of F to A scale or F to A plus scale. This is like a C. It's a very average trade. A lot could have been better on this trade. All right, let's move on to ALPD. So ALPD, we took as an EP play, right? You see it's down, gapping up, and then we took it. Now, originally, how I trade EPs now, if I really believe in them, I take them at the open, and I use the ADR as a stop. The ADR on this was not, it definitely wasn't 12 at the time. It was probably like 9 or something like that. Let's see when I got into this one. Once again, you have to be unbiased and actually grade. Don't make excuses on when you got in. I got in at 884 on this. So that's pretty good entry, right? See this gapped up? Probably could have been a better entry though. So let's go check out the day it gapped. 884. No, 884 is a beautiful entry. I got in before the first 5 minutes. So I got in here on the day. Probably use a low day stop. Yeah. So this is very good. This is an A plus trade. You really couldn't get better than this. There was a lot of things going on with this trade. One, they had just got like some new signed deal, AI data centers and stuff like that, and they got like some funding that was more than the company was even worth. Like, yeah, it was a lot of good stuff with this one. So I remember, I had asked ChatGPT about, I'm not going to go through all of it, but pretty much they had a lot of news. You guys can review the news yourself. Yelling at my dog. Okay. AOPD announced a 250 megawatt AI data center lease. Applied Digital secure 7 billion AI data center. Okay, so that's more than the company's worth, like I said. So you can see a lot of these things, and I really wanted to take this at the open. I just didn't. So like I said, this is like an A plus trade. Checking to make sure everything's all right. Okay, I took hymns this week. I took hymns on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So I took hymns on Tuesday. And I don't remember on Tuesday. Tuesday the SPY was up. So Tuesday I kind of got destroyed by the market, right? I think Tuesday, so Monday was a bad day in the market from what I recall. Monday was not like the greatest day, but I did very good. And Tuesday, I think I did. No, Tuesday I did do bad. Right. Tuesday I broke even because of day trade. Whatever. But the market was going up on Tuesday. I thought HIMS was a decent trade. It's not in theme. HIMS is just a stock that's usually, consistently going up. So I tried my hand at it. Okay, here's the day. So I took it in the morning, and I believe my execution on it was pretty good. I did exactly what I wanted to. I had faith in the trade. I think I took it at the open. So I took HIMS. That's when I sold it. Okay, let's see all. Um, I took Hims at 64. So I did not. Okay, so maybe I took it at the 1 minute open, or maybe I just took it on open, and that's where it got filled at. No, we're not gonna even check the 1 minute open. It's not that serious. So I took Hims at 64, and you can see I got stopped out of it somewhere along here or something like that. I don't know. Or I probably got stopped at the end of close of the day, and yeah, you can see the trade. The trade wasn't gonna work regardless. There's nothing I can do to make this trade work. No, it doesn't mean I'm super poor now. Uh, so there's nothing I can really do to make the trade work for Hims. That's just how it went, right? So, yeah, I mean, what would I rate this one? This is like, I mean, there was nothing. The it had good news surrounding it. That's why I gapped up. It had decent, demand, as you can see, a lot big volume down here, right? So you can see the other bars, and it comes to this. I would say this is maybe like a B minus. There's nothing wrong with this trade. I mean, this type of trade you should take, almost every single time. I took it. There wasn't a lot of like influence around it to make it work. So I guess like if you wanted to take the best of the best trades, this is not the best of the best trades. This is not like an ALPD trade or something like that. This is in its own market. There's no theme. I just took a good stock, I took news on a good stock. You can see it had earnings. Earnings was always pushing it up, and then it had a new like catalyst come along, and the trade just didn't work. All right. So I took CLFG. I think I took a couple of steel stocks. So we can talk about these together. STLD and CLF, right? These are the steel stocks I took. This is exactly the type of trades you want to take. They just didn't work. So pretty much the news for steel was, I forgot what the news was already. Let's see. But there was news pretty much saying, oh no, there was a tariff put on foreign steel. So all the US steel stock companies were supposed to be doing good, and they all had gapped up on Monday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So they gapped up on Monday. And with that, I took two of the ones I thought was strong and had a high ADR. In the case of they were going to gain momentum and start making like a real play. So I tried to get them as early as possible. This is like an A plus type trade. I mean, it just didn't work. Every single trade that's has perfect conditions around it's not going to work. We had the momentum. The volume really wasn't there on this one. But regardless, the volume was here on this one. So I took both. Doesn't really matter. They both gapped up. You can see this one gapped up 10%, and his ADR is 2.7. This one gapped up 20%, and his ADR is 6.35. A lot of momentum there with demand. The trade just didn't work. That's literally all that happened. Now what I will say is when I was going over this trade during the week, I was still thinking about like, hey, well, what if the tariffs get removed? Because there's been a tug of war game that's been going on with the other countries with the tariffs and taxing and trying to fight for better positioning on foreign goods and stuff like that. And the tariffs got removed, this would just drop right back down, right? So if we came to a deal, this would just drop right back down when foreign steel would be, not priced, but pretty much the tariffs was doubled on foreign steel. So this was a good trade. Some good trades just don't work. That's all that happened. It was just as simple as that. Some good trades just don't work. That's really all that happened. So that covers these two. I took this trade. I don't know why I took this trade. I took this trade on Tuesday. Yeah, I couldn't really tell you why I took this trade. But yeah, like I said, both the CLF and the both steel trades was A. Like you should have tried your hand at still seeing the news. You should have tried your hand at it. Now, unless you just know for a fact like the tariff game is just not something you want to play, there was no reason not to try the steel plays. This had earnings or no, this had some type of news. I'm not really sure what it was, so let's go see why I took it. I wouldn't usually try to trade like utility stuff. Utility stuff actually does work though. But let's see. This happened Tuesday. So this is further back. My leg is starting to hurt. Not good, not good. So yeah. Did I go back too far? I had to. Yeah, because I took those. So wait, I feel like when did I take those? Did I take those last Friday? I did not take Planet Labs. That's a stock I miss. I took Yex. Why is this not in here? And I took GWRE. I took both of those, right? So why is that not in here? Did I not add some trades? I know Joey was the week before. Let's look at this. They talking about some May 19th. Here's a concise breakdown. Tell me the date. June 4th, 2025. Okay, I think we missed some play. I definitely took EX. Whatever this is. All right, where's CEG? I don't see anything on it. All right, cool. Well, I took CEG. You can see it didn't work. I don't know the news. I'm not about to look it up. I had already rated this one during like the initial, and yeah, yeah, there was nothing really surrounding this to make this work. This is also just like a momentum based play. They just gapped up, and I took it upon the gap. Um, yeah, not the best trade. We can get rid of these ones. Already went over them. Yeah, so I would say that one's like a C minus. I thought it was gonna work. I'm pretty sure I had decent, like, good news. But for whatever reason, I don't. Oh no. That was that had like that was a relatively good trade. No, what am I talking about? Because that Constellation Energy had got like some type of contract. Why is it not? Why is it not showing in here? I know I looked it up in here. Yeah, we definitely asked about it. Oh, here we go. A Meta partnership. Constellation signed a 20-year agreement with Meta Platforms to supply 1.1 gigawatts of nuclear power from its Clinton Clean Energy Center in Illinois starting in June 2027. Announcements yet. So this had worked, and a bunch of clean energy stocks or nuclear power stocks was going, right? So nuclear was going, but all nuclear failed on the same day. This was like a B plus trade. This was actually a really good. It just didn't work out. So it had really good news. And this one, nuclear was already one of the themes that was working. As you can see, it was building up into it. All nuclear was doing good. Not all nuclear, but you can see nuclear was making a run. And then this happened. So the correct response was to get in. I know I believed in it a lot, but it didn't work. So whatever. Nuclear doesn't seem that strong anymore. Seems like it's more so consolidating. I don't know. It's holding up, but it's not as strong. It needs to break out again. Something needs to lead the way. Silver and gold was also very strong this week, but let's keep going down the line. We took cores and we took HUT. No, we didn't take HUT. We took cores and we took AOPD. That was the ones. We already had HUT. This was a very good trade. We talked about this the other weeks. This thing's just been holding up while all the rest of crypto's been kind of breaking down. And then crypto broke out again, right? So you can see crypto broke out, but you can see a lot of the crypto stocks were breaking down. Riot, CIFR, Iron breaking down. This one's kind of holding up, breaking down. Mars breaking down. A lot of them's breaking down, and Chorus never did that. It held strong the whole time, showing resistance to like the pullback during the market, and then it broke out. This is just another A plus. This is not A, but this is like an A. I mean, this is not. This is like a A trade, not A plus. But you want to take this every single time. It really doesn't matter what you rate this. You take this trade every single time. You try to execute on it. Yeah, I took Yex. Okay, so we did have this in here. I also took that GWRE. I don't know why it's not in here. Yeah, this is a good trade. We executed poorly. We sold out on this on a negative because this day right here it went down, and I quit believing in it. And while it was going down, we zoom in. Yeah, so you can see this is the first day. We got a bad position on this trade. So we was watching this, and this we talked about this one on stream. So if you go to the stream, you'll see AWRE, right? No. I mean Yex was it was on the as you see, it's an NYSE stock, and they have delayed openings sometimes. So this had like a delayed opening kind of. The volume just wasn't there, and I reacted too slowly because I didn't realize the NYSE stock. So I didn't take it because there was no volume in the morning, even though there was volume. There was tons of volume in pre-market. So I was like, I'm not taking this. Like there's no volume, can't trade it. Blah blah blah. I was watching it, and then I was like, oh, it's picking up some volume. It started picking up tons of volume. And then I was too slow to react. And instead of getting this position right here, down here, this beautiful 1.77% risk, I got in at 858. So all the way up here, right? And you can see there's almost no growth at this point. That's a 9% range. And yeah, like it was pretty bad. It was a pretty bad execution. So for me, I got to give myself like a D on this, maybe even an F. Well, a D will give me some grace. The delayed open kind of messed me up. I haven't seen a delayed open in a while, but yeah, pretty bad. And then I would still be in this stock, but then I sold it the next day because, like I said, it went down, and you can see it just dumped in the morning. It came back up though, but it dumped in the morning. And when it dumped, I was like, nah, my position's already so bad on this. Let me get rid of it. But that shouldn't have been the mentality. If that was the case, I should have just sold it while I was up. Come on, computer. So then, as you can see, look, it is now sitting above, at 889. And it could go on to make a big moves, building higher lows. It's not looking bad at all. But I sold it, so I don't have it. So that gets like a D rating. Okay, I took Soxo on this day here. This is like a C plus type trade, B minus, very average. The thing that happened was chip manufacturers was hot this week. As you can see, the weekly gains. Soxo put up over 20% gains. ARM, AMD, NVIDIA broke out. NVIDIA also had this move, the previous week. So NVIDIA broke out. AFCO was very strong, during the week. And Soxo was breaking out. So then I took it. Semis has been doing decently. So that was like everything I was looking at. And I said, cool, let me get back into Soxo. I had already had Soxo from down here, and I had sold, during this. I was up like 80%. I think I sold out around 80%, but I was up over 100%. So I want to get back into stocks. I think it has a lot of room to grow, and semis is one of the strongest things in the market, right? Okay, so STLD, we talked about this one, and then we took one day trade. I got to see when we took this day trade. I'm pretty sure we took this one on Monday, so I don't really think I have to see. So yeah, we took this one June 2nd. So you can see this had a very good climb, right? And we should have used the stair step method. And really, it doesn't look like this one is unfolding. It doesn't look this clean and crispy. You can't really see it. This is like the bigger picture, but you're looking at small frame. So if we went like, that's not what was supposed to happen. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a great entry point. we I don't know, we just wasn't there. We were probably doing something else like cutting the grass, just dicking off in general. Not at the computer. I'm usually not at the computer around 11 o'clock. This had a great entry point. Um, if you use the stair step method, you wouldn't have gotten stopped out here. No, you wouldn't have. But we got in here and we got stopped out. You can see we had our stop here. We could have used this as a low, but we didn't do that. So we had our stop here. We got stopped out. All right. Not a relatively bad trade. It broke the high of the day. 2.5% risk. If this worked, it would have been balling, right? So relatively good trade. I would give that one like a B. Yeah, that's like a B minus. Doesn't matter. It was a pretty average breakout trade, on the better side of average too. Like if you're trading B and A type trades, you should be making money. Especially if you have B and A type execution on them. So grade the whole trade, not just the entry. The whole trade, how you execute it. So I put in my stop. I got stopped out. Trade went as it's supposed to. All right, it broke back out. You got to have balls to do this. I grabbed it again. And I made all my money. I made all the money back immediately because this is 2.1% risk, right? So I grabbed it again, and the trade's doing good. I had a huge position. And right here, this is why this is like a F trade. Since I had already lost on the trade, I had sold at like 214. I had a huge position. I sold at like 214. I didn't even sell partials. I should have, if I was that scared, I should have sold partials or something. Yeah. So I'm out the trade at 214. Look what this does. So once again, I had a 2.1% risk. At 214, I was already up. Oh my goodness, I was up significantly. So no, well, the high was like here. So I had like a 4.73% risk, right? And at 214, I was up about 2R. That's what I remember. I was up about 2R. And I took the trade. I just sold out completely. And I just took my 2R. That's how I was feeling. Look what this does. So at this point, if I would have still been in that trade at the same position, at this point, I'd have been up 45%. That would have been about 10R. I settled for 2R. Then it falls apart. Right? So we could have sold out like here or somewhere around here. I don't know. If we followed the stair step method, we would have sold out at the bottom of this. And even if we would have sold out the bottom of this right here, that would have been over 4R right there. So because we sold early, we missed out on half the trade. Bare minimum, if we'd have followed the basic method that we usually trade, it would have been a 2R. It would have been a 4R trade. We got 2R out of it, which is not bad. I mean, not bad. But given the conditions, and yeah, it should have been way better. If we'd have took the trade here and used this, right? If this would have been our stop, so we'd have did this right here. We'd have figured out, well, if we was just sitting at the computer and got in, so our stop would have been like 7%. 7% from 165. This is like this is still like a, what is that? 5, almost 6. So this is like a 5.5R right here. So not that much difference from here to here. But if you did here to here and then you took the add right here, yeah, I mean, you'd have killed it. You'd have had an ad right here, or you could took the ad right here. Either one, but most likely you took the ad right here. You'd have moved your stop up to something like here or here, and I mean, you'd have made even more money. And then when you're up here, you're probably like up 20R. So overall, I would say my execution on the day trade was poor, but my execution on day trades has been pretty poor in general. So, yeah. So that's going to conclude the review. We stream Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before the market opens. And it's all about being consistent, showing up every day, doing the reviews, like the weekly reviews, and just being prepped and ready to go. And then you'll grow from there. So good luck to everyone. Hope to see you inside the stream. Stream descriptions in the link or whatever, whatever I decide to do, put it. Pretty much it's twitch.tv/who's agent. You know, that's where we stream at. We're live on Twitch. So yeah, peace out.